Welcome to Spotlight on Success, and guys, I'm excited today. I have here with me the one and only Micah Bam Bamm.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're funny. That's
Thank
the
you.
first thing I said to you. Funny, funny, funny.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. God is good. Ain't
Yes, He is. Yes, He is. And the first thing I'm going to jump into is I'm
Okay.
going to say to you that you have done some amazing things. You're just not a comedian. That's what we're going to highlight on a little bit. But there's
Okay.
more behind the comedian. So tell us about yourself.
Born and raised Birmingham, Alabama. Moved to Richmond, Virginia in 1996.
Wow.
And I started doing comedy that same year in Birmingham in March 24th, 1996. I moved to Virginia September 29th, 1996. And moved here. I thought I was a single child. I thought I was the only child until I was 29. I met my sister who was 27.
Okay.
And shout out to Shantae. What's up, girl? And then, it's Birmingham raised boy, Southern boy, moved to LA in 2009, moved back to Richmond in 2013 by default. Wasn't planning on moving back to Richmond by no means at all.
What happened?
One meeting led to another meeting from a business plan I was writing. And then all of a sudden I realized I could launch my business in Richmond. So I started my company in Richmond.
Okay.
And that's what has kept me in Richmond for the last two and a half years, if you will. So that's a summary of the movements in my life, just a little bit.
But you said your business, so we got to take it there.
Okay.
I'm going to follow you. What business is that?
It's called RVA Has Talent. Well, the actual name of the company is Has Talent, H-A-S Talent. And in Richmond, we're RVA Has Talent. In DC, we're DMV Has Talent. In Birmingham, we'll be BHAM Has Talent. And we'll be in roughly 26 different metropolitan markets in the United States, basically helping local talent own themselves. And we partner local talent up with a nonprofit so that the talent makes money, the nonprofit gets awareness, and it makes money as well. So that's what we do.
So you have some other things going on. There's some big things. I mean, not
I only
only do you
think
showcasing your talent, but you also helping other people.
I think that's the way everything in life should go. You know, you should always you should always own yourself. You should always have a mentor. You should also always be a mentee. So as you train others, that holds you accountable for the things that you're telling them to do. You have someone that's training you so that you can always, grow mentally and make few mistakes. That's the reason you have a mentor. I think you should always be in the middle, which is owning yourself. So yeah.
Okay, I love it. I love it because I asked you to come on Spotlight on Success for a reason. You're successful and you're good at it.
Thank you.
And you're funny again. Tell me a joke. Okay, no, I'm joking. Okay, you don't have to tell one right now. I won't put you on the spot.
Gotcha.
But why comedian?
When I first started doing comedy, it was after I had already started singing. It was after I had already started playing instruments. It was after I had already tried to do hip hop, which not tried. I was pretty good at hip hop. But comedy seemed to be the hardest thing. It seemed like with hip hop, you got a beat to back you up. So even if your lyrics ain't like that, if you get a good producer, you're good. With singing, you have instruments to back you up. So even if you don't sound real good, you get some background singers, get you some good instruments. People think you the girl or the man, Yeah. But with comedy, there's no lifeline. It's you, a mic, and a bunch of people that got problems in their life.
Okay.
And so I felt like it was the greatest challenge, but also anything that has the greatest challenge also has the greatest reward. So every time I tell a joke, like for music, at the end of the song, you get an applause.
Okay.
I can tell one joke for 3 minutes and get 15 applauses in 3 minutes. So it's that reward. But I could also tell a joke in 3 minutes and get nothing.
Has that ever happened?
Of course it has.
What did you do? I mean, you
just
kept on going, obviously.
You just keep going and you pretend like that wasn't the punchline.
yeah, I got it.
Yeah, you be like, and then what had happened?
Yeah.
Just keep on going.
Yeah.
You do that, but of course you keep moving, and not only that, you pay attention to why they didn't laugh, so that the next time you do that joke, you're better at it. So actually, it's growing. It's growing. Anytime comedy a crowd don't laugh, I grew. So that's good.
Now let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, I looked at your bio, and you have done some things with Ricky Smiley.
Mm-hmm.
You've traveled with Eddie Griffin, Bernie Mac. You've done it all. You've also done some Unstoppable. An emotion picture with Unstoppable with Denzel Washington.
Denzel,
How
yeah.
was that?
That was eye-opening.
Okay.
It was by default. It's one thing, you get lucky when preparation and opportunity meets.
Okay.
That's how you get lucky.
Okay.
And my buddy was playing Pittsburgh, playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and of course in Pittsburgh. My other homeboy was cutting hair for the movie Unstoppable. So I went into Pittsburgh for the football game, just stopped by the set to holler at him and just to see what the set was about. All of a sudden, I'm in the movie. Yeah, that's a lot of people work hard to get in movies. They go to all these casting calls and this, that, and the other, which I have done as well.
Exactly.
But the opportunities that I've gotten, even that, and when I was in Army Wives, same thing. I just stopped by the set.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, hey man, we want you in. Just look at God.
Yes, look at God. And see, that goes back to, Spotlight on Success, focus around telling people about walking in purpose. That's my thing.
You have to.
I believe God put us here for a purpose, and I would like to focus on successful people. And it's called, I'm calling myself helping me, you guys, give back through inspiration. But most of all, you blessing me. You're blessing everybody that looks at this. So tell me.
And vice versa, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. Tell me, what does that feel like to walk in purpose? Because do you feel like you're walking in your purpose with your business, with your comedy?
Absolutely. What it feels like to walk in purpose is, it's you can't even really explain it because it's such an interesting dichotomy. And what I mean by that is there are days that you're thinking to yourself, man, I need to go get a job. You know what I'm saying? I need to go fill out this application.
Yes.
And as soon as you kind of get to that point, all of a sudden God show up.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not for you, bro. I got something else for you. Just keep doing what you're doing, and I'll hand you this to hold you down for right now. But you have to recognize it as God. You have to recognize it as something that is totally out of your control, that is walking with you because you are walking in your purpose. And faith. I mean, faith without work is dead. And I do think a lot of people don't walk in their purpose. See, your purpose is a God-given thing. And I think there are a lot of people out there that know what's inside of them that God has put there. But for some reason, they still choose to do the contrary and work a 9-to-5 that makes them miserable. Or go and try something different than that they know which is divine inside of them. And when they do that, it tells me one thing that is so unfortunate. They might believe in God, but they don't believe God.
Oh my goodness. Say that again. Powerful.
You might believe in God, but the question is, do you believe God? Because when you believe God, when you believe Him, your walk is without fear.
I agree.
Your walk is without depression. Your walk is without doubt. Even though there's a lot of things going on that can create fear, that can create doubt, that can create depression, that can create things that don't make you feel good. When you believe God, those things are obsolete. And that's what makes you able to walk in your purpose every day. So that's my life.
That was powerful. That is powerful. And that is why you're so successful at the things that you've done, because I would have given anything to be on that set with Denzel Washington. I mean, let Luther sing to me. You've even had that privilege.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of great privileges. And I had no idea about the singing. But I'm going to tell you something. It may be for you, because one of my questions that I had asked you when I saw you performing and you was talking about how white people sing versus how you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, I heard it and I was like, okay, is there a singer in there? Is that something in your future?
I enjoy singing. I've tried to join a band here recently, and it didn't work out for me.
Okay.
And here's why it didn't work out for me. Great musicians. Great vocalist. I have been doing my thing for so long. It was hard for me to step back and adjust to having to depend on so many other people to do right.
Okay.
And not that they were doing wrong.
Okay, of course.
But it takes a lot. So what I do now is I got 6 or 7 songs that most bands that I work out with know, and then I let them perform, and then I'll sit in and perform my 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 songs with them. That way I ain't got to show up at practice. I don't get no money, so they get to keep all their money, but that way I still get to do what I enjoy doing.
Okay.
I'm really an entertainer first. Comedy just happens to be the forefront of what everybody know me as or know me to do. But, like I said, I play 6 different instruments. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, I play keys, I play bass, I play set drums, I play trumpet, I play trombone, I play saxophone. So, and a lot of people don't know that.
No.
Because I do it because I enjoy it. I don't do it to make a living out of it. I'll sit at home sometimes to pick up the bass, and 2 hours of my life goes into that bass. And after I put it down, I don't put it on Facebook. I don't, that was for me.
Well, it's out there now.
Yeah,
we're going to look for some things now. We're going to look for you to be singing. Give us a little taste of it.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, I actually thought I knew a lot, but you keep bringing more and more and more. So I'm loving it. You're making people laugh. I mean, that changes people's lives. Laughter is what we need. Do you feel like that is one of the rewards you get out of just making people laugh? Absolutely.
I do feel as though that laughter is healing. It heals. Some of the compliments that I get after shows, man, you were funny, man, you were good, man, this, that, and the other. The greatest compliment is the one I get when somebody comes and tells me, bro, I was having a bad day.
Yes.
Or bro, I'm going through something. But this moment right here helped me feel better about life. It may not have changed the situation they're going through. It may not have taken away the reason for the pain, but it has shown them a different element of life that even through sadness, you can still laugh.
That's right.
So happiness is a choice. It's never something that is given. It's something you take. I want to be happy.
That's right.
So I'm going to take my happiness. Somebody try to take your happiness from you, you own that. So I think that's what comedy does. It helps you realize even at your worst moments in life, you can still laugh. Okay. And it makes happiness a choice.
Okay. I mean, we've got some nuggets here that can change your life. You have blessed me so much. I mean, and I know it won't be just for me, for Twitter, for Instagram, Facebook, definitely all the people that's following. I am so thrilled that you have shared this with us, but I want to ask you 1 or 2 more questions.
Yeah, just keep going. Let's roll.
All right, listen. I want to know from you, because I know that being a comedian is one of the hardest things. Because like you say, you don't have anything to fall back on.
Yeah.
What would you tell these jokers out here, these guys, these women that want to be and do what you do? What would be your advice for them about being successful at this thing? Because you make it look easy.
It's not. What I would say to them is be certain. When you say you want to do something, mean it. Don't say it and in the back of your mind, you're really saying to yourself, I'm going to try it. No. When I said I was going to start doing comedy, the moment I stepped on stage, I knew this is what I would be doing for the rest of my life. Okay. I didn't know what else I would be doing, but I knew this is what I would be doing for the rest of my life. So that when the moment I didn't get my check, or the moment somebody didn't pay me my money, or the moment somebody canceled a gig after I drove 600 miles to get there, the moment I already bought my plane ticket and I get a call that the gig's been canceled, and now I'm out of $1,000. After all those moments, because comedy was something I knew I was going to do, none of those things made me stop. They were just obstacles. They were just learning curves. But they never was stop signs. I do think that for some comedians, or for some people that even do something else, bake cakes, tap dance, whatever you want to do, the moment they get into a struggle, the moment they doubt if this is what they should be doing, and they stop. The moment, so I say to you again, or to you all out there, the moment you decide to do something, make that a final decision and do it, and never stop doing it. It takes 10,000 hours to become a professional at anything.
Second time I heard that.
Yes, and it's in a book called Rework. It takes 10,000 hours to become a professional at anything. It's also in another book called Talent is Overrated. So until you get to your 10,000 hours, you ain't really learned nothing yet. It doesn't mean that you don't know some things, but it's so much more to learn until you get to that 10,000 hours. So even if things go bad, let them go bad. You're trying to get to your 10,000. You kind of become a pro first. Then after you become a pro, now you can make demands. Now you can start saying no. Now doesn't mean the issues stop. You're just able to catch them before they happen.
All right.
Because you recognize a problem coming up now before it even happens.
Exactly.
In the beginning, you don't know problems.
Yeah.
Because they're new to you.
They're new.
Yeah. So just again, once you make up your mind that you're going to do something, do it.
Wonderful, wonderful. I have just, I'm giddy over here. I want to just get up and jump because I'm excited because I love what I do.
Good.
I love what I
Good.
do.
Good.
And I have been the type of person that God has been telling for so long, look, you're not supposed to be on a 9-to-5. You can't do this. I'm an author. I write. I do everything. But I love what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that stopped me that you mentioned, fear, is what stopped me. But see, what God has for us is for us. Because you might need to come over here. I heard a little preaching going on. You know, I preach. but what God has for us is for us. And you have been a great inspiration because there's so much more to the man than comedy.
Yeah. Oh, so much more. Comedy is, comedy, I think God has used comedy to get me noticed.
Okay.
And then after he's allowed people to notice me, then he started to use me with these other tools that he's given me. Like when I leave this interview, I got to go to the Richmond City Jail because I run a program there and helping with the brothers.
No stalkers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I never would have thought in 1,000 years that I would be spending time in the Richmond City Jail, either way, helping or locked up.
Okay.
But I am. So now I look forward to going to jail once a week to help these brothers and sisters out. Again, that came from comedy. It started with comedy. Something happened with comedy. I met a friend through it, and one thing led to another now.
And it's such a big thing. It's a big deal.
Tremendous thing.
It's a big deal because I believe that God blesses us to give back.
Yes.
What is the need? If you can't help somebody else, it's not all for us. It's not all about us. And I say that a lot. I tell people it's not all about us. It's about what God has called us to do, and it's about love. Now, going back to, you being here in Richmond, are you here permanent in Richmond, or you're back and forth between here and California?
Pretty much here permanently in Richmond for the time being. Now, will I move from Richmond or start to work outside the market? Absolutely.
Okay.
But
because you're doing well in California as well.
Doing great in California.
Yes.
But I will always have allegiance to Richmond.
Okay.
When I got to LA, I'll be honest, I kind of felt guilty because I was like, man, did I just pimp Richmond? Like, did I just use Richmond to come up, get my comedy together, and then once I got to the point where I was ready, I just bounced?
Okay.
And if I did that but if I did, a lot of artists do it. They pimp the community to become great at what they want to become great at, then they leave to go cash in somewhere else. I don't think that's what I wanted to do, which is why I came back and started a company. Which is why I also think, because of that guilt inside of me, God was like, let me go ahead and help this boy Conscience.
Yeah.
Send this boy back to Richmond
Yeah.
so he can do something, so he's at peace with himself.
Yeah.
But that's how I ended up back in Richmond. I just left San Diego last week on an inner city visit with some of the top execs in Richmond, Virginia. Going to San Diego, the purpose of our visit was to go to San Diego, see what we could notice about San Diego that we can adopt and bring back to Richmond, Virginia. When I saw the energy of 165 people that are business leaders, the mayor was there, other constituents around his cabinet was there. When I saw us look at San Diego through the lens of Richmond, I had a whole different appreciation for Richmond. Because now it didn't put Richmond as just a city where I go trade my money or go kick it or go do a comedy show. This is life. What are we building? What have the older people left for us to
Carry on.
Yes.
Exactly.
And what are we leaving for the kids that are here and the kids that are unborn to have? What growth are we putting? So now that I've seen that element from last week, I'm in. Okay. Richmond is where it's at.
Great. Because we need to do that. We need to give back. And let me touch you. This is celebrity right here. This is Richmond celebrity. And it's Spotlight on Success. That's what I do. I'm pulling them out. I'm talking. I'm saying give back what you can give back to help these kids and help people, even my age, I don't know, your age, to walk in purpose, because I've been doing this for a long time. But this is the first time I've stepped out on faith and said, let me pull people out because I'm a people person.
There you go.
I love to talk. I might as well use it for something because God called me to preach about it. I'm still a little running. I don't want nobody's church, but I preach. So listen.
Good.
All right. I want to
awesome.
ask you one or two more things.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, lastly, what is your definition of success? And of course, I want to ask you, where will you be performing next, or what can we look to expect from you next? So that's two things. I know I threw it at you, but you got it.
Okay. All right. Got that. Let me see if I can sum this up real quick.
Okay.
My definition.
Take your time. We want you to have. We want to hear what you got to say.
Got you.
Okay.
My definition of success is how long you stay on the journey. It's not the destination. It's how long do you continue to walk in the purpose. You know, if you stay in purpose, you're successful. It doesn't mean how much money you make. It doesn't mean how many things you've done that's on the goals list. It's about staying in your path, staying in your faith, walking in your faith. That's success. If I died right now, I don't have my HBO special yet. I don't have my debut as a lead actor in a major motion picture yet. I haven't traveled to 13 different countries that I want to go to yet. But if I died today, I would be successful.
Okay.
I would feel that I was successful. And one of the major reasons I would feel I'm successful is what I'm doing is able to touch other people. Goes back to the point of giving back. If you are making a lot of money, but you ain't helping nobody, I'm not the one to say you're not successful, but it wouldn't be successful in my book.
Exactly.
You know, that's one thing I noticed about last week. I went to San Diego with a bunch of millionaires. I mean, a bunch of millionaires, a bunch of powerful people. The one common thing amongst all of them that was said a lot was, what are we giving?
I've heard that amongst millionaires. I love to hang around with millionaires.
What my homeboy in LA, his father at the time used to be the president of Ralph Lauren. They're billionaires. Now this is one of my best friends. And his dad, of course I'm cool with his dad, know his mom and dad, love him, sister. His dad's a multi-billionaire, but he's also the number one fundraiser in New York.
Wow.
So you wonder why he got so much. It's because he gives so much. So give. If you know, and don't stop giving. Just give.
Yeah, that's the secret.
Give. Sometimes I'll be in Chick-fil-A and I'll look in my rearview mirror, and if there's one person in the car behind me, I'll ask how much is theirs, and they'll say $8, and I pay for it.
Good.
You know,
Good.
and I don't need to stop and get this lady to pull up next to me and say thank you. I just going on about. I'd rather she not catch me. You know, going on about my business. But give in every opportunity that you can give. Just give.
And you're not going to believe this, because that's what I do. Now,
Okay.
I'm a
believe
person that I don't have a lot to give. But as you said, if I died today, I would be content with what God has allowed me to do, because I consider it successful.
There you go.
You know,
there you go.
I have not got to certain places that I want to be yet. I caught that. Kept
Yeah.
saying yet. But I do little things like I could go into Wawa and Micah in the mornings. Somebody's always paying for me. So sometimes I go in there and I catch people behind me and I pay for their
the same.
things.
Yeah.
You know, and this one guy, he ran to the car one morning. I got to get my money, you know. By the time he got back, I had paid for it. It's not about being seen or doing things like that. I ran to my car and he just waved me down. I owe you. And I said, no, you don't, because you're not going to take my blessing. See, people don't realize that this is not about us. But the more we give, the more God gives to us.
Yes.
Because we can't have a closed hand expecting God to bless us.
Well, we have to understand that, and I don't want to go too heavy, but we have to understand that we all are one. We're one. We're just different entities of one being. So therefore, every time I do something good, I've done good for everybody.
Exactly.
When I do something bad, I've done bad to everybody. And once we realize that, because there's a scripture where God says, I am all there is, all there was, and all there ever will be. He didn't say just these things and the other things I don't really want to do with. He said all.
Exactly.
So if he is all, then that means that every movement that you make and I make coincides with one another.
It affects us.
It affects everyone. So you have to live for everybody else. You have to. If I'm out here living for everybody else, that means I'm living for roughly 3 billion people. Well, then hopefully those 3 billion people are living for me.
Okay, exactly.
You know, so so yeah, you gotta give. You gotta give, and you gotta know life is bigger than you.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna be selfish, so go ahead and answer the question when we can see you next.
Oh,
so people
no,
can
no,
catch
you're
you.
fine.
No. Because I want to keep it all to myself, but I'm not.
And we got time. We got time. I'm good to go.
Okay.
You can see me. Well, I have most of my shows now are corporate or either churches.
Okay.
My next gig publicly is not until 17th of May, which is March 7th, May 7th, I'm sorry. May 7th, I'll be performing for a mother's event. That would be at, Jesus Christ, I can't even think of the name of the place. All I do is sign contracts and get deposits.
I'm going to get on there and let you know later.
Yes.
We're going to catch them.
On the 7th of March.
Don't let them get away from me.
I do have a public show. That's going to be a cool show. It's going to be an all clean show. Me, hilarious comedian by the name of Antoine Scott.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope you know him. If you don't know him, you need to learn Antoine.
Okay, I've heard of him, but I got to know him.
Yeah.
I got to know him.
Yes,
Okay.
Antoine Scott, James Lawson, another hilarious brother, and Tin Man, another hilarious guy. James Lawson, I travel with him a lot. He works with me a lot. I hate to say open for me, but he works with me a lot. So we'll all be on this one show, all clean show, and it's going to be funny.
Okay.
But other than that,
I know it is.
I'm working on a major project. I've been called back to LA to shoot the DVD for Netflix. But I made a bold move and I told them no because I want to shoot it in Richmond. So they said, well, in order for you to shoot it in Richmond, you're gonna have to raise all the money for production.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. I'm not even worried about it. So production is $90,000. So I've started a GoFundMe for $30,000 of it. Trying to get sponsored $30,000 and trying to partner for $30,000 to split that thing up.
Okay, guys, you all hear that? Spotlight on Succezz. Give.
Yeah.
We're gonna look for
GoFundMe. Yeah, GoFundMe. Micah Bam Bamm White. MICAH White. So just give whatever, 10, 25. If you got $1,000, hey, look at God. But yeah, so that's that. And then I have a major project, even larger than that one, that I'm gonna launch pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's next year. That'll be next year in April. So wait for something next year in April.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you something. Your jokes. That's how you put it, ladies? You know, women love to laugh. Tell me, is that your
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
Women love to laugh, but it really don't get you no further than that. Let me tell you something. I remember when I first started doing comedy, I'm like, I got them. Make them laugh.
Right.
The problem is, you can make them laugh, and then you try to get serious. They don't take you serious. They want you to just tell jokes, you know? So I try to be as less funny off stage as I could possibly be.
No, really?
And for two reasons. Reason number one, it creates a greater element of surprise when you see me on stage. And reason number two, because like we've been discussing, there's more to me than just comedy.
Okay, of course.
Yeah, so I like to portray the other parts of me off stage.
Of course. And that's why we have you here on Spotlight on Succezz, because this man has been a phenomenal guest.
Thank you.
I have enjoyed you. I like you a lot more now that you've told me the secrets. I didn't know if I was going to meet, you know, this is our first official meeting.
Yes, it is.
And I cannot say, I'm not disappointed at all. Okay. I love you already. And I can't begin to say how we just want to watch you and see you grow in Richmond. And we will watch you. Yeah. I'm inspired just by listening to you about Richmond itself again. Because I was like,
Well, you mean as far as Richmond is concerned?
Yeah.
What I've noticed is it's never where you at. It's the habits you portray where you are. Okay. It's the principles you use where you are. You know, I hear people all the time, man, Richmond ain't got nothing for me. I'm going to Chicago. But if you go to Chicago and do the same things you did in Richmond, you're going to have the same outcome in Chicago.
That's it.
So you can always make it happen where you at. You know, everywhere has an untapped market aspect in it. Find what the untapped market is. Okay. And drive in it. Okay. You know? And even if it is a saturated market, what makes you different from everybody else that's doing it? What is the experience that you provide? And life is about moments. You know, it's not about, you know, when I go to an event is an event is an event is an event. That doesn't mean anything. But what about that event am I going to remember? What are the moments? Because moments in life is what we remember. You know, so yeah, what do you do that creates moments for your life and other people's life?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I've been in there for quite some time. I've said, this is it, this is it, this is it. So what do you want to tell the viewers on Spotlight on Succezz before we go off? Anything about, you know, motivation, purpose? Because I have learned so much. I'm sure our viewers have learned a lot about you, because there's more than a comedian. You're doing some great things for Richmond. You're a great guy doing a whole bunch of big things that we're going to keep looking out for. So you got any closing remarks that you want to share?
I would say, you know, as far as the Richmond community, a community that feels good does good. So monitor your feelings. You know, as I said earlier, about happiness is a choice. Be sure that there is nothing that takes your happiness away from you. If there's somebody that ticks you off, makes you angry, that person is not worth losing happy time. You know, grudges, don't hold grudges, because that only gives people power over your life. And a lot of people say, well, no, it don't. It does. And the reason I say that, you could be at a party, having a time of your life, and that one person you holding a grudge against walks in. They don't even have to say anything to you. Changes your whole demeanor. Look how much power that person has over your life. And then lastly, even staying in that feel-good mode, monitor your feelings. Feel as good as you can right now, all the time. Exactly. And after you feel as good as you can right now, work at feeling a little bit better. Because how you feel creates what you think creates what you do creates your habits creates your character creates your destiny. But it all starts with how you feel.
Okay, so look, spotlight on success, very well said. We have our own Richmond Micah Bam Bamm right here, but we know that you're in Atlanta, you're in Chicago, you're in Canada. Everybody, because I have family.
Well, then wherever
so
you are,
know, wherever you are, go to his GoFund page and support him. Let's support people who's doing something, that want to be something. And this is why we do Spotlight on Success. I want people to get up and walk in purpose. I want you to live intentionally. This is what God has for us. Time out for wasting idle time.
And you keep doing what you're doing.
Do
please,
my best.
Please
Do
don't
my
stop.
best.
We need you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
You got
Thank
it.
you for taking the time
You
out.
got it.
Okay.
You got it.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us on Spotlight on Success. I'm excited. I can't do any more than sit in this seat, but yay! So this is it right here. Come back and see us again. Go to my page, Spotlight on Success. You'll catch the whole interview. It's going up this Friday. Don't miss it, because you're going to miss your blessing. I don't know what else to say.
God bless y'all. Thank you.
All right.